Good evening, I'm Ian Hannamansing. Tonight, Londoners take to the streets to honor a murdered family. Plus, we check in with community members.
We can't be scared because if we're scared and we have fear, we let the others win.
Also tonight, Ontario begins a cautious reopening.
It's kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel almost.
Vaccinated Canadians look for guidance on what they can do.
I can't wait to go on a vacation again.
And a Canadian musician comes home and drops a pandemic album.
I think the main lesson that I learned over the past year especially is just how important the little things are.
My conversation with Ruth B. This is The National. And this will be a weekend of mourning for many in London, Ontario, as the family of 4 killed in an alleged anti-Muslim attack is laid to rest. And so tonight, both in that city and many others, people of all faiths are coming together in a show of support. In London, Toronto, Quebec City, and beyond, people gathered today with 2 main messages: to call for an end to hate and to remember the lives cut tragically short with that single brutal act. Makta Gebrselassie is at the London Muslim Mosque tonight, the destination for what's being described as a multi-faith march to end hatred. Makta, describe the scene.
Well, I just want to give you a sense of how many people have come out for this. So we actually have people still arriving after walking for an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to this final destination. A few minutes ago, we've been having speeches happening throughout the last half an hour or so. And at 8:45, there was a moment of silence. Now that time is crucial because that is the time that the family was attacked on Sunday, around 8:40, 8:45. Police say that hate was a source of that attack, and these people behind me decided to take the steps today to turn towards love. All ages, all races, all faiths, taking the street back in a march to stamp out hate.
Everybody just wants to live in peace and everybody just wants to live safely.
No matter what, we're all human beings. No matter what the color, the race, or religion.
They started at the site of the fatal attack, then walked more than 6 kilometers to the mosque where the family prayed. They carried with them the memory of 4 family members struck down by a driver police say was filled with hate for their faith.
Allahu Akbar! That's right. We're here to break down stereotypes.
Inside the mosque, Friday prayers for the family rang through the air earlier. Some for the lone survivor, Fayez, have been answered.
The doctors expect him to make a recovery, and nothing like his growth and his long-term health will not be compromised by what he went through.
Left for the 9-year-old today, a note and a teddy bear to hug, while friends of his lost loved ones hang on to their memories.
And you can see Medea with her daughter.
When she was completing her master's in environmental science, Jason Gerhard was Madiha Salman's supervising professor.
She was just enthusiastic, dynamic, passionate.
Photos show her curling and gathering with friends. She also cleaned up the earth, advancing technology to do it.
She really had a real impact in academia, but also in the real world. And they're applying it now to get these chemicals out of the ground.
Soon, she would have completed her PhD. Now, instead of a graduation, her loved ones prepare for the funeral. She, her husband, her daughter, and her mother-in-law will be laid to rest tomorrow.
And Makta, what details do we have about the funeral tomorrow?
At this time, I'd like
well,
to
the funeral and the burial service is just for family tomorrow, but people are being invited to line the streets tomorrow when the funeral procession makes its way through the community. There will also be a short public event as well, but as for this event, as you can see behind me, it's still going strong. I expect people to be here for quite some time, Ian.
All right, Makta, thank you. As we mentioned, marches and vigils were held in many places today, including Quebec City. There, a vigil was held outside the Quebec Islamic Cultural Centre. That's where 6 men were murdered in an attack in 2017. And earlier today, people gathered for a walk against hate in Toronto. Many more vigils and marches are planned for over the weekend. Let's turn to the COVID-19 story and an optimistic message today from Ottawa. Canada's chief public health officer noting that from the peak of the third wave, cases have declined 80%. But Dr. Theresa Tam acknowledged the Delta variant adds urgency to getting more Canadians fully vaccinated. She likened the vaccine rollout to a marathon.
The last kilometre, well, actually 2 kilometres, if I've ran marathons before, the last 2 is horrible. If you've got to, just keep looking at that finishing line and trying as hard as you can to get there, but we know we will.
As long as Canadians keep lining up for both doses. Well, enough people have had their first vaccine in Ontario, and case counts have come down enough that the province, which endured one of the longest shutdowns in the world, nudged open a bit today. And as Jacqueline Hansen tells us, even that little bit is going a long way.
So right now you guys are going to keep jogging.
This is one way to get off to a strong start.
We're going to take advantage of the space, and we're going to do some explosive running drills. We're going to do some sprinting.
For the first time in 10 months, this fitness trainer gets to see his students in action in person.
So to do this like this again, I'm so excited.
But the small outdoor class is more than just a workout.
It's kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel almost.
As online fitness classes take a back seat, so can online shopping. Non-essential retail shops with street access can open at 15% capacity. Those stores inside malls are still closed.
I feel like I'm going to start spending a lot more money.
This retailer says reopening with new restrictions each time is a challenge, but
we needed to be open. We can't, we've only been open 6 or 7 weeks this year.
For many, the first taste of normal life is on a restaurant patio.
Feels like freedom. It feels great. Cheers. Cheers.
And it's a chance to get back to work.
We have about 35 staff, and we've had to lay off about 15 of them, and they're all coming back as of this weekend.
Though there's a long way to go and COVID-19 is still a threat. There are several hotspots in Ontario for the Delta variant, the one that hit India hard. In northern Ontario's Porcupine region, there's concern over rising cases, so it's not reopening. Even elsewhere, some are worried this reopening will lead to more people getting sick.
And then they'll just panic again and shut things down.
The owner of this Ottawa restaurant hopes that doesn't happen.
We're keeping our fingers crossed. If we have to close again, that would be a really difficult blow.
So, Jacqueline, there's another patio behind you on Toronto's waterfront. How hopeful are people there that this is going to last?
Well, the ones we've spoken with are optimistic that the data shows that this time it's different than it was the last time restrictions were lifted. But I can imagine there are some people at home tonight who are waiting this out, perhaps waiting for that second dose. And if all goes to plan around vaccinations and caseloads, Ontarians could do even more in just 3 weeks. And Ian, that means we could finally get haircuts.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Let's bring in Dr. Susie Hoda, an infectious disease specialist with the University Health Network in Toronto. Dr. Hoda, exciting times as various provinces start to reopen, but what cautions should we keep in mind?
The first thing is we need to go slowly, and we really need to watch the numbers because we know that the Delta variant is about 60% more transmissible than our current variant. So the numbers can take off if we're not on top of things. And the other thing is we absolutely have to keep on top of continuing with our vaccination efforts. Both first and second doses are critical at this point.
So there's a story from Calgary about an outbreak of the Delta variant in a hospital and that some of the people had both of their vaccines. Not a lot of details, though. What are some of the things you'd like to know about that?
Well, first of all, I don't want people to panic hearing that because we know that outbreaks are not usual circumstances. There can be higher exposure degrees and other drivers that we don't know about yet. But I'm very interested in knowing the details around these cases. So in those who are fully vaccinated who got infected, when did they complete their vaccination series? Was it recently, so they didn't have enough time to build up immunity, or a really long time ago and maybe that immunity waned? But also, how sick were they? during outbreaks, we do a lot of asymptomatic testing. And so we may pick up these asymptomatic cases or minimally symptomatic cases, which are less concerning if that's a case of breakthrough with the Delta variant and vaccination.
This has been your message throughout the pandemic. Don't panic, but be cautious. Dr. Hoda, thank you.
Thank you.
So fully vaccinated Canadians appear to be well protected, but at this point, they're still often subject to the same public health rules. Hannah Thibodeau shows us how provinces are looking to change that.
Shira Churns hopes this white piece of paper, proof of her second COVID-19 vaccine dose, is her golden ticket to pandemic freedom.
I am thrilled. I'm excited. Hopefully I'll be able to, to do more things.
But she wants governments to give more freedoms to double dosers.
I can't wait to see some friends, some family that I haven't seen in a while. I can't wait to go on a vacation again.
The federal government has yet to release national guidelines on what fully vaccinated Canadians can do. The U.S. did that 3 months ago.
I do think the federal government should be putting out some framework, but certainly at the provincial and even at the municipal level, having something that gives us guidance.
But most provinces say they don't want to introduce separate rules for the fully vaccinated without national guidelines. Some are relaxing measures for double dosers when it comes to travel. The Atlantic provinces, the territories, and Manitoba will eventually drop the 2-week self-isolation period.
Either we believe that 2 vaccinations is a sufficient level of protection or we don't. If we do, then let's start to give people some advantages in doing that and some incentivization to do that.
The Manitoba Premier also said more benefits will be announced soon. Alberta has loosened restrictions for double vaxxers who have been exposed to a COVID case. If you have no symptoms, you don't have to self-isolate. And in Quebec, those who are fully vaccinated can soon remove their masks at private functions. Some say the concern is the do's and don'ts need to be clearer now.
Because otherwise, people are just going to do what they think is right, and it might not be safe all the time.
For double dosers like Churns, federal public health officials would only say guidance will be coming soon. Hannah Thibodeau, CBC News, Ottawa.
Health Canada announced today it will not release more than 300,000 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, already held up for weeks out of concern they may be contaminated. They came from a troubled U.S. factory in Baltimore. The U.S. regulator today separately ordered 50 million doses from that factory destroyed. Health Canada says it's not accepting any more doses until it can set up on-site inspections. How to help end the pandemic was the top issue at the G7 summit in England today. One key part of that effort is getting vaccines to countries that need it. Evan Dyer explains that a new contribution from Canada isn't as simple as it seems.
This issue is not going to be solved for anybody until it is solved for everybody.
Canada's High Commissioner to the UK says this country had no choice but to go big at this summit.
The pressure was on every country to make sure that we are saying clearly to the world that these 7 most wealthy countries will lead the way in making sure that vaccines are available on the widest possible basis.
Out of 1 billion donated doses, Canada's agreed to provide up to 100 million. That's the same amount as the UK, which has a much larger population. As things stand now, Britain will donate just under 1.5 doses per person, the US just slightly more, and Canada well over 2.5. Canadian officials say they expect the other countries to increase their donations, but that hasn't happened yet. For the NGOs who actually deal with disease on the ground in developing countries, it's not only about numbers donated.
What we want to see is a clear roadmap. How do you get those vaccines to individuals?
Elphick Pooley says bad roads, too few nurses, and lack of freezers have caused some donated vaccines in Africa to go to waste. Things also need to move faster.
The current commitments on the table are talking about by next year. We're seeing a massive third wave of COVID-19 on the African continent.
Canadian officials say they expect the whole G7 contribution to double to 2 billion doses, perhaps even this weekend. And they say that at the end of the day, countries like the US and UK will likely contribute the same as Canada proportionately. But they acknowledge that their own estimate of what Canada should contribute was lower. British officials wanted Canada to give more, and they ended up accepting the British number over their own. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Falmouth, England.
The G7 is the first time this group of world leaders has been face-to-face since the pandemic began. The presence of one head of state particularly notable, the Queen.
How's that?
Are you supposed to be looking as if you're enjoying it?
Yes, definitely.
Besides getting chuckles at the G7 family photo, the Queen also spoke with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on a range of issues, from the selection of a new Governor General to the reported preliminary discovery of children's remains at the former residential school in Kamloops, British Columbia. Saskatchewan First Nations leaders are calling on Roman Catholics to boycott Sunday Mass until the Church does more for residential school survivors.
And you can pray at home in your own way. And you don't need a middleman to pray to the Creator, to God.
The leaders also want the Pope to come to Canada and apologize. Communities across this country are reconsidering commemorations to those who played roles in the residential school system. Paige Parsons shows us how it's playing out in several Western cities when it comes to renaming streets, schools, and other spaces.
There are many of us out there.
For residential school survivor Terry Lusty, seeing the Grandin name around Edmonton is a bitter reminder of what he went through as a child.
It causes a lot of pain for people like myself.
But that's starting to change. At this transit station, the Grandin name has now been covered up. Catholic Bishop Vital Grandin was a proponent of residential schools in the 1800s, who once said Native students should feel humiliated of their origin. A mural of him inside has long been a source of debate. This week, the city paneled it over in orange, the color of reconciliation, and pledged to rename the station with the help of Indigenous leaders like Lusty.
How do we look at the process of reconciliation with that present?
Other cities across Western Canada are also planning to remove the Grandin name from this high school in Calgary and this major roadway in Winnipeg. In Edmonton, Grandin isn't the only historical figure facing removal from public places. Frank Oliver's name is all around this neighborhood named after him. Oliver was a federal cabinet minister in the 1800s who took land away from Indigenous people and blocked black immigration to Canada.
You can unify an entire community around a new identity.
This community leader helped launch a renaming plan in consultation with Indigenous people.
We wanted to take our time and do it right so that we can serve as a template for other communities.
But Terry Lusty doesn't want past wrongs to be forgotten.
We want the people to know the truth. We want them to know the actual history.
But while the reckoning continues, people here are trying to honor victims of residential schools in other ways. Hopeful this movement for change is here to stay. Paige Parsons, CBC News, Edmonton.
The Minnesota teen who recorded the police killing of George Floyd has won an honorary Pulitzer Prize. The video captured by Darnella Frazier, seen in this police body cam footage, galvanized mass protests around the world against police brutality. The Pulitzer Committee said they wanted to honor the then 17-year-old for her courage. George Floyd's death unleashed a protest movement that demanded change throughout society. When it comes to schools, many want teaching to include an awareness of anti-black racism. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson has a look.
Kareem Rodney and Kizzy Badeau can help their boys aged 4 and 7 with a lot of things, from schoolwork to playing basketball. But when it comes to conversations about racism, they wish some of it took place in their classrooms.
I definitely think it's very important at this age. This is the ages when kids are really inquisitive, asking what, why, when.
Discussions about anti-black racism aren't usually in the curriculum for elementary schools. They're sometimes brought up as a possible topic within, say, social studies. But just how much the subject is talked about, if at all, is often up to the individual teacher.
So this is a headpiece, right? Just like what you were showing me your head.
For Curtis Dardane, who teaches a diverse body of students, talking about racism starts with kids sharing their own experiences.
Beginning that conversation on what anti-black racism means, what black excellence means, and how their voices, their lived experiences, and their family matter. And it matters just as much as everyone else's. And that hasn't been the narrative.
Nice.
face. Kizzy Badeau would like to see those types of conversations mandated in the curriculum for all students.
We also have to teach the non-Black children of what that means and how they could potentially be perpetrating that or what a microaggression could be.
But BC teacher Monica Noak says every teacher has to find their own approach. Hers is through teaching empathy, even sharing what's happened to her.
Some of them hadn't heard of, they've heard of racism, but having someone who they know have experienced it, and me as the teacher telling them my stories of experiencing racism in Canada was very moving for them.
A lesson in fairness, respect, and compassion, hopefully giving them a head start in confronting racism in society. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
It's going to be an emotional weekend in London, Ontario, as people say goodbye to the family killed this week. 3 residents reflect on the pain and fear, but also the sense of solidarity.
All I ask of everyone is just to hold my hand and let's move together.
Also tonight, after weeks in a coma, a COVID survival story.
You look good.
How he and his family are giving back. And Ruth B is back with a new album and back to where it all began. Now you're back in your parents' basement in Edmonton. What's the pandemic been like for you? She opens up about coming home and the pressure to succeed. We're back in 2. No one was injured after fire ripped through the historic Chester Playhouse in Nova Scotia this afternoon. The building, which has stood for 8 decades, had recently been undergoing renovations and was set to reopen this month. And people in Regina woke up to some massive flooding today. The city says about 60 millimeters of rain fell over 24 hours. Several cars were left abandoned across the city as police advised against unnecessary travel. This driver had to be rescued by boat. Many streets were cleared by about noon when some of the water receded. Like much of the country, Saskatchewan's COVID-19 wave is receding. For a week now, fewer than 100 new daily cases have been reported. The province's 7-day average has also hit a 7-month low. Those numbers are cause for optimism, and so is this story from Bonnie Allen.
At 8 months pregnant, Tina Wynn has endured overwhelming stress and fear. In March, she contracted COVID-19 at the hair salon where she works. Then she infected her husband, Hien Tak. He was put in a medically induced coma.
Cái lúc đó thì hầu như là không có ngày nào, đêm nào mà em sợ. Em rất sợ là đứa con trong bụng của em sinh ra là không có cha.
She felt alone in a country she only just moved to before the pandemic.
She really scared.
Then her boss, Han Lee, together with the local Vietnamese community, raised thousands of dollars to support Wynn.
Enjoy. The people from Vietnam and our culture always stick together, helping each other and support each other in a situation like this.
Ai, anh khỏe không? Anh ăn cái gì vậy? Đưa em coi vô cái mặt coi.
But after 5 weeks in a coma, her husband is now awake and recovering at a rehab center.
You look good.
Không có cái gì quý trọng bằng cái sự mà mang chồng em trở về. Hầu như không có gì quan trọng hết trơn. Chỉ có giống như em chỉ cần là con em có cha và chồng em khỏe mạnh, sinh con ra con khỏe mạnh thôi là một điều tuyệt vời nhất.
While cases are dropping and hospitalizations are slowly trending downward, Dr. John Fro says the Delta variant and vaccination levels will dictate what happens next.
The majority of the people that we see in hospital who are being admitted are becoming critically ill or are dying are unvaccinated.
As for Hien Tak, he's grateful to be alive and for people's kindness. To pay it forward, the couple has decided to donate the money that was raised for them to the hospital and to other families still suffering from the virus. Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Regina.
When we come back, reflections on a difficult week in London, Ontario.
We can't be scared because if we're scared and we have fear, we let the others win.
We'll hear from 3 people in that city on their grief and fear, but also what gives them glimmers of hope. A show of strength and solidarity in London, Ontario tonight. People of all faiths gathered to march in support of the Muslim community after 4 members of one family were killed. This week we've heard from many people who are grieving, friends of the family, community leaders, and complete strangers coming together.
As a father, I feel it's my job to protect my family. As a community leader, I feel it's my job to protect my community.
My sister would not have wanted us to live in fear with wearing our hijabs. She would have wanted us to be proud of our identities.
I stopped and waited for the light to turn green. And I never once thought about my personal safety. And everybody deserves that same right.
So this evening we want to check back with those people you just heard from, each part of the community, to see how they're doing. And Yasmin Khan, Hassan Mustafa, and Gary Allen Price join us from London, Ontario. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you. Hello.
Yasmin, you were very close to the family. 5 days into this, how are you feeling tonight?
Honestly, I'm still very confused and still very shocked. But after a few days and with the community support, I'm feeling stronger, and I feel like the community has gotten stronger, the London community. So I'm very thankful for that.
And Hassan, you are a leader in your community, a member of the mosque that the family went to. You're also a father of young children. So same question, really. What has the last few days been like for you?
It's been a horrible week. It's a week full of raw emotion. We have a really tough funeral coming up tomorrow, but it has been made tremendously easier by the outpouring of support that we have been receiving from the community, from friends, neighbors, co-workers, strangers in the street. Our strangers are stopping my wife in the grocery store and offering support. And so while it's been a horrible week, there's hope, and we're feeling more positive.
Gary, you made a point to park your car about 20 minutes away from where the attack happened, so you could walk along the same road. And tell us what was going through your mind during that walk.
Well, I'm a walker. I walk every day, and on my way to the scene of the tragedy on Tuesday morning, I just made a very deliberate decision to drive about 25 minutes past, park my car, and walk back to the scene of the tragedy. It was my own small little gesture of solidarity with the Afzal family, who were out for a walk on the Sunday evening, of course. And I'm glad I did that. It felt like the right thing to do. And I can tell you, Ian, that as a result of your coverage this week, I have had a lot of people feed back to me around that.
Yasmin, we've heard in that coverage from so many people across the country, especially women who, because of what they're wearing, might be considered to be visibly Muslim, who have felt more fear than they had recently because of this attack. I wonder how it's been for you and how you've been dealing with that.
Honestly, Ian, the first day I felt very scared. I didn't even go check my mail, and it's just been very tough. Because I also like to exercise, especially during COVID. I can't even do that anymore because I have a fear for my family that, we're all dependent on each other, but now the message that I'm trying to deliver is that we can't be scared, because if we're scared and we have fear, we let the others win. We let the people that wanted to hurt us win. And I know for a fact that my sister, she would have continued to wear her hijab with pride. And it's important that we as Muslim sisters gather together and wear this with pride. And by sister, you mean a member of the Afzal family that you feel sisterly towards. Hassan, you're a father. Can I ask you what kind of conversations you've been having with your kids in particular this week?
So my daughter was friends with Yumna, and she's been very distraught, and she was one of the girls that was afraid to go outside when it was mentioned during the vigil. She was saying to her mother, "Do I look too Muslim? Because I'm afraid. If I'm afraid to go for a walk, I'm afraid to go outside." 2 nights ago, we gathered all 9 families from our all 9 Muslim families in our neighborhood, and we decided we're defiantly going for a walk. and neighbors were coming out of their homes to share the love and to offer condolences and to offer support. My daughter's, she's doing better. We have her friends around her. The school has been supportive. The teachers have done a wonderful job, but it's going to take a lot of time for them to heal and for them to feel safe again.
Gary, you've lived in London for a long time. What do you think this week, and I mean, it's the attack, but also the aftermath of the attack. What do you think this week says about London?
Well, I would offer you this, Ian. When I did my walk on Tuesday morning to the site of the tragedy, I never once gave any thought to my personal safety. And since then, I've reflected on that, and I've wondered why that is. Because over my lifetime, I've walked all over the world, in China and in many Latin American countries and many countries in the Middle East, and I've never once felt for my personal safety. And I think that it may be because I am a white, straight, Christian male. And as a white, straight Christian male, I have a right to feel safe and be safe. And everybody else is entitled to that same right, regardless of who they may be.
Yasmin, we have less than a minute left. It's a big question, but I'd like to finish by asking you this. What message do you have for your city, your community of London?
So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has shown immense support to us. And I just want to let you all know that at the end of the day, we are all humanity. We all have blood in our bodies. I have a heart inside of me. I have a brain. I feel pain. And all I ask is for your support. And all I ask of everyone is just to hold my hand and let's move together. Let's create some change. And let's create some change for a safe environment for everyone in Canada.
And after this week of pain, Yasmin, is there hope as well?
Yes, I think there's hope. Actually, I believe there's hope with the amount of support that we have. I've been a bit disappointed with certain politicians' reactions, but I know that as a community, we can all change this and we can all strive for change.
Well, as I said at the beginning, an incredibly difficult week, and we so appreciate all three of you spending the time with us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you.
And there was more reaction in Ottawa today to Sunday's attack. MPs unanimously passed an NDP motion calling on the federal government to hold an emergency summit on Islamophobia by the end of July.
All political leaders at every level of government in Canada need to urgently change their policies to prevent another attack targeting Canadian Muslims.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh and Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole posted messages on Twitter in support of the summit. Up next on The National, my conversation with Canadian musician Ruth B.
There was a time when I was alone.
It's been a long time between albums. Do you feel pressure?
Yeah, pressure is inevitable.
We'll talk about leaving New York and moving back in with her parents during the pandemic and the inspiration behind her new album. The last year or so has taught many people some new life lessons, and Ruth B is no exception. The Canadian singer-songwriter has spent this pandemic back in her hometown, north of the border, reconnecting with her music-making roots. And today, celebrating the release of her new album, Moments in Between.
There was a time when I was alone.
Ruth B burst onto the music scene 6 years ago, when Lost Boy became a worldwide hit.
Was the man in the moon.
A song that famously and improbably started with short videos shot in her Edmonton home, released on the internet.
I am a lost boy from Neverland.
We've been following her career from that first song. Tell us the story behind those 6 seconds.
Thank you. Well, actually, I was watching a TV show called Once Upon a Time, and it was all about Peter Pan.
Ruth B! To the Junos 4 years ago when she won Breakthrough Artist of the Year. And now the release of her new album.
What's the situation?
During this pandemic break, she's back where she started, in Edmonton. Ruth, it's so nice to see you again.
So nice to see you too. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Now, last time we were at a music theater in Vancouver. Now you're back in your parents' basement in Edmonton. What's the pandemic been like for you?
You know, it's been quite a time, definitely. I was living in New York prior to the pandemic, so it's definitely been interesting to kind of be back home with the family. I think at first I was definitely just overwhelmed with everything, but I think in a way it's kind of been really nice just to reconnect and just be here and kind of, you know, feel at home again.
And as a musician, what kind of impact has it had on you?
Yeah, I think at first, again, it was overwhelming to go from these studios with different producers and writers in New York to kind of back to my roots, I guess, like back in my room with my keyboard. But I think in a way that's made making the music just that much more fulfilling again, to once again be able to connect with who I was as a writer when I first started and make music the way I really love to make it. It's been really nice.
And here we are we hope towards the end of the pandemic, hopefully getting back to some kind of version of normal. And as part of that, you have a new music video out.
I wanna let go, but it's so complicated, baby. All I'm saying is, what's the situation?
How did you manage to shoot that during the pandemic?
Music video shooting during a pandemic is definitely different. My director was out in LA and she was via Zoom and kind of directing me through they put like a little megaphone next to the laptop where she was on. So it was definitely an experience, but I think it just made it that much more gratifying to see the process come through because we worked so much harder and it was such a tricky process, but ultimately it turned out beautiful. And it was also really cool to be able to shoot a music video in my hometown for sure.
Normally I tell people, not that you need any advice from me, but normally I tell people do not look at the comments on social media or YouTube. But I was looking through the comments for that video and they are fantastic. I mean, the only debate on there is some people who say you're underrated and other people who are angry that people are still saying you're underrated. And there was one I saw where somebody said, I think I can remember this, lights off, headphones on, eyes closed, what a paradise, which I think kind of captures the song. Did you go through the comments yourself?
Yeah, you know, I love reading feedback from fans. I think it makes it feel realer when you can see what people are thinking about you and thinking about the music. And yeah, I'm always so grateful for the support and people happen to be really nice in terms, especially with that video and that song. I think I may have even seen that comment in particular that you mentioned. But yeah, it's always amazing when people are super supportive of something that you've poured your heart into.
So most of the people watching this have not heard any of your new album yet. What does that album represent? In what way does it reflect you or the times?
This album does such a perfect job of capturing me as a writer and as an artist right now.
And I think it's kind of funny how we always end up running back to each other like we love to suffer.
I started it about 4 years ago and traveled a lot while I was writing it. I was in LA and New York and then ended up finishing it again in my parents' house, kind of where my roots are. And I think the main lesson that I learned over the past year especially is just how important like the little things are and the little moments that we might take for granted in everyday life. And that's why I named the album after the last song I wrote for it, which is Moments in Between. And it's just, yeah, just realizing how significant the insignificant things of every day are for me.
The toughest thing in the music business is breaking through. And you did it in the most original way, you know, the Vine videos and a pretty significant song, Lost Boys. But the second toughest thing in this business is that second breakthrough, that second single. And it's been a long time between albums. Do you feel pressure?
Yeah, pressure is inevitable. I think for me, in terms of first album versus second album, my first album to me felt like the most pressure ever because it was following right after Lost Boys. So and I was so new to the scene. It was a lot. And I think with this one, I wanted to make a point to really take my time to live life and then gather the songs that came out of that. Because for me, the most important thing is the authenticity and the realness of the songs. Because if people can't connect to it, then it doesn't really matter. When making art specifically, you just kind of have to be in the moment.
And speaking of in the moment, we're still in the pandemic moment. So you're doing a virtual tour. When are you actually going to be out on a stage in front of real people again?
I'm so looking forward to the day. I think definitely the light at the end of the tunnel is becoming more clear now. So I'm definitely excited. I think, yeah, one thing this pandemic, another on top of all the many things I've learned, is just how much I love touring and how much I miss that real life connection. And I think when you're physically on the road, it can be so grueling and so tiring, but like now I'm just like, I miss being so exhausted at the end of a show and just running to my hotel and passing out with the band. Like all those little things, I miss them so much. So I'm definitely super excited for that day.
Well, it is really exciting to talk to you. And as I say, hopefully the next time it'll be in person. Thanks, Ruth.
Definitely. Thank you, Ian.
As Broadway looks to reopen in the fall, it is far less clear what's in store for the Canadian theatre industry.
Devil is in the details, and the details are either wrong or absent.
Up next, the push to lift the curtain on what reopening could look like. Italy kicked off the European Championship on Friday after a year-long delay with a 3-0 win over Turkey. Fans entering the stadium were required to show proof of vaccination and a COVID test. As we showed you earlier, Ontario began its reopening today, and that was a big relief for people in the performing arts sector who can now hold in-person rehearsals. But as Eli Glasner explains, a sense of frustration remains in an industry pushing for greater government clarity.
Broadway, oh Broadway, you're finally coming back.
In the U.S., they're already celebrating the return to Broadway.
Life ain't easy. Life ain't fair. Girls gotta fight for right.
Toronto's Jewel Blackman will be there when the musical Hadestown is the first to reopen in New York. And you probably don't believe it. Like, there is going to be a theater filled with people.
I don't know how long we'll all be crying or yelling or hooting, whatever. It's going to be a moment, and I still can't believe it.
But in Ontario, there's still no clear path for how curtains are supposed to rise again. So far, only outdoor performances are allowed. Mitchell Marcus is directing the musical Blackout here this summer.
It's so demoralizing. The devil is in the details, and the details are either wrong or absent.
With Ontario in Phase 1, rehearsals are now allowed, but
we have absolutely no sense of how many people we can reopen for. So how do you sell tickets? You can't sell, and not only how do you sell tickets, how do you do this safely?
In BC, indoor gatherings of up to 50 people could be permitted as early as next week. Relief for the artistic director of the Rumble Theatre Company, who's been focusing entirely on digital productions until now. Interesting work, but it doesn't feel the same as a theater filled with people.
All I can say is it's terrible if it has any emotional weight to it, if it's actually impacting people. It's just shooting things into the void.
I've not sung live since March 11th, 2020.
Back in Toronto, Jewel Blackman is also looking forward to performing in the Porchside Songs, intimate micro-musicals which have been met with an enthusiastic response.
People want to be entertained. People want to be transported. People want to have that connection, even if it's still at a 6 feet distance.
Connections theater fans have sorely missed. Eli Glasper, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, he's certainly not Van Gogh or Picasso, but we're about to show you an artist who's a bit of a sensation. Meet Rogan, the multi-talented pup from Alberta, taking the world by storm. Next. Medicine Hat, Alberta is lucky to have a dog like Rogan. This miniature Australian Shepherd seems to do it all, from a good sit to winning at tic-tac-toe. How's that possible? Anyway, Rogan's taken his talents to a new level. He is painting, and for an international fan base. That is our moment.
People are crazy about Rogan's artwork. It was basically just a goof. I had started painting myself, and somebody who knows that I do a lot of training with my dog sent me a video of a dog painting and kind of dared me to do it. And like 10 days later, Rogan's painting away. So he has kind of like a little plate, like a soft plate that we have a paintbrush attached to with a hole in the middle, and he just puts it in his mouth and he stands in front of the canvas, and then he goes up and he like does a little swipe or dab. We usually do 3 or 4 colors, and each session it's mixed in with other tricks while we do it, 5 to 10 minutes at a time kind of thing.
Yes! Good! Good boy!
He loves it. He loves all training that we do. He loves to use his brain. We could do one every 4 days if we wanted to, but we typically don't do them that quickly. We've sold them all over North America, overseas. We've sent them to Tanzania, Estonia. I didn't quite think that he would get the attention that he would get, that's for sure.
One of his works has been submitted in a show with other painting dogs, a sentence I didn't ever think I would say on the National. He sold 200 paintings, and they all go to rescue centers, charities. $50 is a suggested donation, but some have sold for as much as $200. That is the National for June 11th. I hope you can join me on Sunday for Cross Country Checkup on CBC Radio at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific, and then later that evening back here on the National. Good night.